Welcome to the 2024 Halloween special of Goonies World. My name is Goonie, also known as Colin, and I am here, as always, with Meanie, also known as Ryan.
Hello, from Spooky Springs.
And Johnny Farrell, also known as Sean.
It's Halloween.
I thought it was a goat, actually. But...
It's an evil goat, like a Satan's head goat on it. You know, devil horn goat.
It's a ghost goat.
Black Phillip.
Ghostly goat.
And Loonicorn, also known as Lynn.
Happy Halloween!
That's a good witch laugh.
Yeah, it is.
I was hoping you'd do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are we doing tonight again? Oh, yeah. We're going to listen for the Howl of Chalutha. We're actually playing 6th edition Call of Cthulhu, but not as ourselves. We're playing a game within a game as our preteen characters from our Jupiter Springs setting. Our regular listeners will know Jupiter Springs, of course, but if you don't, you can still enjoy this episode. I think we must have more than a dozen Jupiter Springs episodes out there if you count them all up. I don't know, but
Yes,
there's a lot of them. Yeah, it's one of our favorite settings. And
Yeah, it's one of my favorites to listen to, and I'm quite excited to have gotten my own Jupiter Springs preteen character
That's
that
right.
is now part of the gang that we played off-screen
That's true. It was also
previously.
a setting we play off-screen a lot as well, although it was born here in our Kids on Bikes game long ago. And we've played all kinds of systems with it. Anyway, though, tonight the system will be Call of Cthulhu 6th edition. Only they don't play Call of Cthulhu in the Jupiter Springs universe. They play Howl of Chalutha. And a quick shout out to our friend Teresa, who always mispronounces Cthulhu, which is how we got the name Chalutha.
She tried. It was close, but
Yeah. It was always close.
no cigar.
So now Howl of Chalutha joins Druids of Dragondale and Vampire the Masquerade and Battle Mallet 20,000 as one of the fictional games of the Jupiter Springs universe. So now, though, let us go there to the Jupiter Springs universe in our imagination, to Northern California in the 1980s, to a working-class neighborhood called Sugarbush Valley. It's Friday night and it's Halloween. As darkness falls, leaves are swirling in the wind down a street, which is lined with big two-story houses, mostly built in the 1920s and 30s, when Sugarbush Valley was prime real estate. But now, by the 1980s, most of those houses have been divided up into apartments, and many are run down or they've seen better days. But one, however, seems slightly more well cared for than the rest. It's a big brick house with a wraparound porch and a two-story detached garage in the back. And this is the home of Plunger's grandmother. Plunger's a heavy-set preteen genius with round glasses and pale skin and ginger hair, kind of ginger afro, really. And his friends use the upstairs loft in his detached garage as their headquarters and their base of operations for the many adventures they've had. And the loft is full of 80s era computer equipment and a large projection-style TV with a laser disc player. And there's a huge city planner's map of Jupiter Springs the Plunger somehow got a hold of. You have to order it from the engineering department at the city. It's covered with all kinds of little colored pins and different locations. And they're bulletin boards with news clippings and photographs and maps, all connected by strings, showing an intricate web of conspiracies that Plunger believes in. And there's a crowded, sagging bookshelf full of obscure texts and scientific journals and a massive filing cabinet. There's a refrigerator, which is very important. And there's a gaming table, and that kind of completes the scene up here. It overlooks the rest of the garage, which is full of band practice equipment from Plunger's big brother. There's also a big engine block hanging from the ceiling over the garage because Derek works on cars. So anyway, that's where Plunger is, and he's waiting. He's looking outside. He walks around lighting some candles in the loft, orange and purple candles. And suddenly there's a knock on the garage door. And Plunger looks at this makeshift periscope-style device he's got rigged up. He says, it's Dickey. And so it begins. And he presses this buzzer, and that opens the door, at the bottom of the stairs on the side of the garage. And Dickey, you come upstairs. Punctual as always. In fact, just a little bit early. But as we've always discussed, if you're on time, it's 15 minutes early. I assume you brought the fluff?
I always bring the fluff.
That's right. Well, so do you think that Ceecee is going to humiliate herself in her first, not only her first tabletop role-playing game, but a challenging system, as well as being recorded on community access radio the first time? Do you think she'll
absolutely
be able to handle it?
Yes, she's gonna. I don't believe that women are suited really for playing role-playing games because of their sensitivity and their emotions. And when they throw dice, they'll break a nail, and have to touch up their makeup and all that. So I think she's going to be the first to die, but that's okay.
Perhaps that's true. I will remind you, though, that her fist fighting abilities are without question that I've seen in real life.
Oh, yeah, she's a real tough girl, but not tougher than us, of course. But for a girl, real tough, we saw her beat up that other girl that one time.
That's true. I don't know why. I remember that girl fight very distinctly. I'm not sure I know why.
Yeah.
And there's another knock downstairs, and Plunger looks through the little periscope device again. Speaking of tough, it's Chip. And he buzzes Chip in. And well, Chip, welcome. Good to see you. Glad you're not mooning over a vampire somewhere.
What's up, dudes?
Come on in, Chip.
That's Chip. Chip, I think you'll find this game much like the Druids of Dragondale that you've played, only you'll be 1920s era investigators. I assume you've already seen the character sheets, of course. I did leave the mimeograph character sheets in everyone's lockers at school today. I deduced your combination, Chip. You might want to think about beefing up your security on that school locker.
It's fine. I'm not worried about it. You're not. What are you going to do? Put a bomb in there? Come on.
Absolutely not in your locker. And, I wouldn't make a bomb anyway, but could, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But no, I would prefer a bomb with glitter or paint or some other fabulous and or humiliating substance.
Yeah. Truth bomb.
A truth bomb. Plunger's going to drop a truth bomb on you. Perhaps I should call. Perhaps that's a good. I'm going to put it on the short list of titles for my my book about conspiracies within the sugar
forward
lobby
by
in
Dickey
Washington.
Newton, of course.
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's thinking more of a prologue really than a forward, but let's not get our terms, confused. But speaking of confused and feelings of confusion, I think, yep, indeed, that's Ceecee. She's here. All right. So just don't forget it's our first game. So Chip, I want you to remember when your first game, you had no idea what was going on. So please be patient.
Everyone act normal.
I'm a veteran now.
Welcome, Ceecee, to the Loft Garage. Of course, you've been up here before, but not when the gaming table has been set up.
Howdy, fellas. I spent some time digging through the couch before I came over, and I found some change, and I got just enough to buy us a nice big bag of Doritos. I hope it's okay to have snacks at the gaming table.
It's mandatory.
Sorry, this man.
All right. I got nacho cheese. I hope that's what everybody likes. Just some nacho cheese. I had to buy the off-brand, they're not actually Doritos, but,
Well, your family
can I do?
can't
Actually-
afford it, and that's okay.
No,
But for me, it's a real step down, and I'm just going to go with it because I know you can't help it. I know it's beyond your means, but the point is that we're all here together, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Well, I just had a sort of very quick sort of scientific question, but does anybody know what the exact effect of dipping nacho cheese off-brand Doritos into fluff might be?
Superpowers, probably?
no, friends. Let me stop you right there. I've been there. Okay, you wake up one day. It's 4 a.m. You've stumbled and fallen in the bathroom. Pants around your ankle. There's substance on the ground smear. You're laying in a pile of nacho cheese, Doritos, and marshmallow fluff, and you realize you've got a problem. So
Yeah,
and that's when
it is Halloween, so I think we can give ourselves permission to pig out, but let's not go too crazy.
Well, yeah, in fact, we're going to have to pig out because, like all of you, I am disgusted that the Jupiter Springs Board of Aldermen canceled trick-or-treating this year.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
I don't know.
Jerks.
No, of course.
Right, that's the only time I can get candy I can afford is a
I know
Halloween
it.
time, and they want to go cancel my one chance in all the whole year where I can just have all the kind of candy I want.
I know, and your first Halloween in Jupiter Springs, no less.
Right,
We should be
right.
hitting the
And,
streets right now, going door to door and scaring fools to give us their candy. But instead, I guess we got the next best thing with this game, though.
That's true, but the streets might not be as safe as you might think. I believe the streets are dangerous tonight, but not for the reasons that the local news media would have you believe.
We're superheroes. Shouldn't we be out helping instead of hiding in this dungeon and listening to authority that don't usually know what it's talking about anyway?
I've offered my help to the police. But let me tell you what's going on here. The local news would have you believe that the police have credible threats of razor blades hidden in Hershey bars and pinholes stuck into Starburst and then filled with arsenic and broken glass being mixed into the nougat in Three Musketeers bars and apparently no Tootsie Roll or a $100,000 bar or Laffy Taffy is safe from evils that plot to harm the children of Jupiter Springs. But I, of course, know differently. Friends, I've been on some discussions on some various underground BBS boards, and I've been in contact with my uncle, and I've actually learned that police believe there's an escaped convict from Hargate Prison hiding out in the Jupiter Springs area. One Beauregard Cox, also known as Stroker. Now, I have independently verified through my uncle, who is unjustly imprisoned in Hargate, as you're well aware, that this Stroker is indeed missing in action from the prison. And I've contacted our friend Detective Dwayne at Jupiter Springs Police Department, and offered our help in apprehending the criminal. But he pretended not to know what I was talking about, of course. And so, we can't save the world every night. But instead of our usual trick-or-treating out in Moonstone Hills, where they can afford to give out full-size candy bars, because don't get me started again when there's nothing fun about fun-size candy bars. We will have to pig out on this fluff, I guess. And if I end up, on the floor in front of the toilet with my pants around my ankles and a face full of fluff, it'll just be my own damn fault.
And it'll just be fluff.
I know how to.
All right, that's gross, man.
I know how to resuscitate you from
I don't
fluff
get it.
overdose. We've all been there, so don't worry about.
Anyway,
We just,
friends,
I just, just a reminder. We need to snort some pixie dust, and that'll bring us to if we go to like a coma from too much fluff.
Oh yes, it's the kickstart my heart situation for a fluff incident.
Yes.
But absolutely. The medical properties of pixie dust are vastly undervalued by the medical establishment for purely profit-driven reasons. But we won't get into that right now because tonight we are playing Howl of Chalutha. And when we finish that, we'll enjoy a showing of John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness on Laserdisc. I don't need to tell you it features both Dennis Dunn and Victor Kwong from Big Trouble in Little China, as well as the incomparable Donald Pleasance, Alice Cooper, and the blonde guy from Simon and Simon. Anyway, I assume that you all found, as we discussed, the mimeographs of the potential player characters that I put in your school lockers today. So I assume you picked one, and we'll have plenty of time once the game starts for you to introduce your characters. We'll do that for our radio audience. Now, I have my recording equipment set up right here, so...
What? Don't hit record yet. I just... Now, this isn't Dungeons and Dragons that we're playing, is it?
Here it's...
All right, I knew this was a bad idea.
My daddy told me that game is, well, you go to hell and there's devils and stuff, and it leads to devil worship. So,
it leads to devil worshipping in a long, meandering way, perhaps. This game leads to devil worship directly.
Yes.
So you can tell your father.
my daddy dead. You know that.
Tell him in heck.
He done been killed in that tractor accident down there in that Mississippi, Carroll County.
I know so many people.
Before I moved here.
I get people's backstories mixed up. I apologize, but I know a man who can talk. I know a man who may be able to get a hold of your father, nevertheless. But yes, he owns a bookstore.
Because I don't want my daddy. I don't want him looking down on heaven and going, "Oh, Ceecee, I told you about that devil game, and now look at you." And I don't want to sell my soul to the devil or nothing like that.
If you do it, you will be doing it on local access public radio. So I'm going to hit record right here in 3, 2, 1. And this is not live at all, by the way. He's recording this on cassette player, he might even have some old reel-to-reel type stuff that he thinks is better or something. But anyway, here we go. Are you ready? And record. Welcome to Plunger's World. I am Avenging Condor, also known as Plunger. I'm joined, as always, by Laserman, also known as Dickey.
Hello.
And Ninja, also known as Tip.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And for first time on the program, Supersonic Chronic, also known as Ceecee.
Howdy.
Tonight we're playing Howl of Chalutha, a game set in the dark universe created by pulp horror writer J.Q. Valentine. And so we will of course be using the 6th edition of the rules, since I will not sully my gaming table with the travesties that pass for any other edition, prior or later than that. Before we introduce your characters, let's just jump into the action and set the theme very quickly, shall we? Cast your mind's eye back to a dark night in the 1920s. You were on a ship, the SS Coral Essex, a mixed passenger and cargo ship traveling from Boston to Rockport, Massachusetts. But at precisely 8:15 p.m., the lighthouse on Torch Island suddenly went out. That was about 15 minutes ago. And without the lighthouse to steer by, the Coral Essex foundered on the rocks and broke open and its hulls punctured. And the ship's sinking, and the crew has hurried you off to one of the ship's lifeboats, and they put other passengers on other lifeboats, but there weren't many passengers. And they let some of them off earlier in the process, so they could head for the mainland, but you were the last, and it's just the 3 of you on one lifeboat. And as the captain waves goodbye as you row away, he says, "Do your best bets to make for Torch Island." But all you have to navigate by is a small light shining out at the bottom of the great lighthouse's silhouette, which is now, of course, dark. And as you row together in the darkness toward the island, it's a perfect opportunity to get to know each other and introduce your characters. And to us and the audience, because I don't even know who you've picked yet, except for Dickey, of course. So we'll start with Dickey. Dickey, tell us in character. Introduce yourself to your new friends as you find yourselves rowing towards an island in the darkness.
My name's Chet Brick. I'm FBI agent from Boston. I'm a real tough guy, but I don't have a Boston accent because they train you in the FBI to talk like this.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
And that's all you need to know, because the rest is classified.
Very good. I always appreciate your commitment to character, Dickey. And now, Chip, tell us a little bit about your character that you've selected.
Well, my name is Humphrey Curtis, and I'm a magician. I do magic tricks and things like that. Like, hey, look at this! I got this rabbit I just pulled out of my head. It's a freaking miracle.
Wow.
That's me. I'm a rather dapper-looking guy.
Wow, I love the character voice, by the way. Let me just say, great commitment to role playing. I appreciate it.
He's come a long way.
So a stage magician. I like that. Okay, Ceecee, tell us about the character you picked.
Okay, so I picked a character named Molly Jasmine Young, but I like the name Jasmine better than Molly, so I will be preferring to go by the name Jasmine instead. I am a parapsychologist. Do you think our listeners know what a parapsychologist is, or do I need to explain that?
Believe me, anyone who listens to my radio show better know what a parapsychologist is, or I don't want them listening.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. And as you can tell from the way that I have changed my voice, I am from New York, New York.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I know. I've been working on this accent, and I was like, I finally was able to lose that southern drawl, and now I sound just like someone from New York, like a real live Yankee.
From the South Bronx, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely South Bronx. I'm picking up strong South Bronx accent.
Now, you've been rowing while you've been getting to know each other. And meanwhile, the weather's been getting worse, actually. It was dark already, but it seems the storm might be blowing in. Although, it's just a bit peaceful even at the moment. It's calm before the storm. But in the distance, you can see the flashes of lightning and the threatening banks of storm clouds and pressures gathering in the air. Now, it doesn't take you long to reach the island, of course, on Torch Island, upon which this great, but now dark, lighthouse stands. As I said, you could see a small light at the base of the lighthouse, perhaps a little porch light or something. But now that you're coming up to a small pier and a dock on the north side of the island, which obviously seems like the safest place to come ashore, you sort of lost sight of that light because from your angle now, it's on the other side of some thickets and gnarly trees. However, there is a path that runs from the dock through those trees, presumably up towards the lighthouse. So as you get out of the rowboat, and I'll assume you do, unless you just think you're going to row all the way back to Boston, in which case the game is over. But as you get out of the boat, make a spot hidden roll to see if you notice anything strange. Spot hidden should be one of your skills that you will find in a great long list of skills. And if you have that skill, please go ahead and roll your dice. You're rolling percentile dice, friends. You want to get equal
Does
to.
Does that mean you add them together?
No, Ceecee.
Dickey, would you please explain?
You roll percentiles. You don't add them together. I mean, you want to get under what it says for your skill, spot hidden.
Yeah. I got 25 for spot hidden. So, but I don't add them together?
No, you would roll one dice and pretend that's the 10th digit, and then another dice and pretend that's the 1th digit, and then read the 1 and the 10. So if you roll the 2 and the 5, it will be 25. You have 25% chance of spot hidden, which is the baseline, meaning you're not very skilled.
Okay.
So, did anyone, however, succeed in their role, if in fact they have yet made it?
I failed my roll.
I rolled a 98. That's bad, isn't it?
Yeah. None of you notice anything interesting at all, other than some footprints. However, the footprints are very confusing. They're running off onto the path through the trees, but you're not able to track them through the trees. So you have no idea where they go once they go into the trees. Perhaps had you spotted that or made that roll, you might have found yourself more successful. Yet all is not lost, because these are obviously animal prints of some kind. There's something like a duck's almost, except bigger. And what's odd is that beneath that layer of footprint, there's another set of footprints. And when I say beneath that layer, it's as if these boots, a man-sized boot print, walked by first and create an impression in the ground, and then this much larger, almost duck type of footprint stepped on top of it, almost as if it was following the boot prints. Anyway, that's what you can see. There's nothing else that's obvious at this time.
Does anyone have any skills to identify this print? I'm looking at my skills.
It looks like it might just be a fellow with a pet duck walking around.
Find that highly unlikely.
I think that's too big for a duck. An actual duck. It could be like a mutant duck or a monster duck.
Like Big Duck instead of Bigfoot. Maybe there's a Bigfoot duck.
Well,
And he's a regular-sized duck, but his foot's just really big.
if you don't think you have a relevant skill, then you can always make a no roll, which I believe you'll find on your character sheet, which is a good stand-in. However, any sort of skill in the sciences or would be appropriate, but I think a no roll would get the job done for all of us at this juncture.
Well, I succeeded in no roll.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Anyone else?
No.
Well, I don't see a big cascade of hands. So, luckily, I'm sorry, you said your name was Humphrey Curtis?
Yeah, Humphrey Curtis.
Humphrey Curtis, very well. Humphrey, however, you do realize that when I say, and you're able to gather a few more details, the animal prints are basically, as I say, they're duck-like, but certainly not a duck. And although that seems to be just walking on the tips of its toes, as if it's not pressing the entire foot down into the ground. As well, I say that you're able to determine the prints are definitely just of one man. That is for sure. Is there anything else specific you were trying to ascertain that I may have forgotten about?
No.
Okay.
Just wanted to see if we could identify what type, if this was indeed a duck or a goose or a blue-footed booby. I can say that.
Well, I will tell you
name?
this. Humphrey Curtis feels quite confident that this is definitely an animal, but it is no animal known to modern science. At least not as Humphrey Curtis understands it. You realize this with a chill as some rain begins to just some gentle rain at first, but begins to pour, making you mildly damp. Do you wish to go further down the path? Of course, this is the path the tracks go down, but you can see the tracks are slowly disappearing in the rain as you move down the path. Obviously, you'll have to continue on the path to get to the lighthouse. So,
Yes.
I'll assume
Chet Brick will take the lead. He's got a .38 revolver. He'll have that out, pointing the way ahead.
If only a .38 revolver solved all problems for all people. Anyway, as you walk through the thicket, you can hear a buzz. You begin to realize you're hearing a buzzing sound, which you eventually identify as that of an electric generator that's here on the property somewhere. As you round a bend, suddenly you come across a hideously mangled body. It is a bloody mess. Its insides are on the outside, and there's a shattered lantern lying on the ground next to it. Everyone who looks at the disgusting crime scene loses D6 plus 1 sanity. Roll a 6-sided dice, that's the cube-looking one, and add 1 more and lose that many sanity.
Oh my god, I lost 7.
I did too.
You lost 2, or you did also lose 7?
I also lost 7.
Oh my.
I lost 6.
Oh my. Well, does anyone happen to have the first aid or medicine skills by any chance? That's a quick glance at your character sheet. This might give you some more information.
Yes, I do.
Well, please make the relevant skill roll.
Well, I mean, actually, it's not actually
No.
over what the base is.
Well, of course, you can always roll against the base, but if anyone has a no roll they'd like to make, instead, they can do that very quickly.
I got a no roll.
Well, you succeeded in it, although one wonders why a success roll would be necessary to realize this was definitely an animal attack and that the wounds are made of teeth and claw marks. They're not clean in the way a saber or a dagger or something like that would be. This person's been ripped apart by an animal. Yes, Ceecee.
I have a question. What's a no roll? What's that mean?
Well, sort of a catch-all.
Does that mean you
which
don't roll? No roll?
No, it's KNOW, to see whether or not you know.
If you know, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And so, like that there little box with my characteristics and rolls and stuff, it says no there?
That's correct.
KNOW?
That's
Is
correct.
that the number that I'm trying to roll under?
Yes. Equal to or under.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. All right, so I don't think you need to now.
It's going to be
So,
a long night.
Anyway, the other thing you do notice, of course, is that this body died very, very recently. Less than an hour ago, perhaps. Now, often in games, when we come across a body, we like to search for more information or clues, perhaps. Does anyone choose to search the body?
Chet Brick will search the body. Everyone stand back. I got this.
Well, it is quite a bloody affair. And since you're physically handling the horrifyingly disfigured corpse and getting blood on your hands and your gases escaping from it that nauseate you and whatnot, please lose another D4 sanity as you physically investigate the remains.
Okay, another 3
And-
down.
All right. And you pull out a wallet, and inside you find the name is Warren G. Hardong, and he is an FBI agent, just like you. You find the FBI, and there's something about seeing his FBI badge and ID that is extra disturbing to you personally. So roll another D4 and lose that sanity. Because, and he even, oh my goodness, he happens to also have his Smith & Wesson, just like you have, his 38 service revolver. And he has 5 bullets remaining in it. Looks like he must have gotten off 1 shot against something. And he has a little journal in his pocket as well.
Fellow FBI agent has been downed. This cannot stand. I am furious at whoever has done this, and they will pay. I swear it, they will pay. But I'm going to look in this journal.
All right. Is anyone else doing anything while he's doing that, or are you going to crowd around the journal, or what?
Well, it depends on what. Oh gosh, I have to speak as Chip. Well, it depends on what he does with the other revolver, because I think Humphrey would probably, if he just set it down, Humphrey would probably grab it and put it on his person and.
But
Yeah.
have that as he's not very good with a gun, but
I don't even know who you are, Mr. Humphrey. I don't know if I can trust you with a firearm. I better hold on to this for safekeeping.
You should do a trick or something right here. I'm like, do you trust me with this? Boom, That would be lovely.
Actually, that's exactly what he was going to do. He's going to do like a. Well, perhaps you didn't hear me correctly because there's something in your ear.
Yeah.
He pulls a quarter out.
After all, Dickey, do you really think that your character needs to go around hogging 2 guns while leaving somebody else with none?
Yes.
I mean, I appreciate your commitment to character.
Yes, I think it's very necessary that I hold on to the weapons because I'm an FBI agent after all, and I've got the training and skills, and also I'm just a wily veteran player that knows just what to do at all times, and I'm going to save us all because if it was up to the rest of these guys, we'd probably drown right after we got off the boat or something. I'm making all the important decisions, so.
You two-fist those revolvers, you agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd just like to make an observation here that maybe there is something to that whole devil thing, because you guys are meaner when you're playing this game. Y'all are usually really nice, but yeah, I don't know if anybody's noticed that, if you're self-aware enough to be aware of the fact that y'all are meaner when you're playing this game.
I am self-aware enough to know that Dickey is mean.
No, I'm a sweetheart.
when he's
My
playing this
mom
game.
tells me
I'm always the
I'm a
same level of
sweetheart,
mean.
and that's just what it.
Oh, Dickey!
Well, your mother tells you a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, don't tell my mom that I'm playing this game, because she is also in the camp that believes
She knows about the devil
She
stuff.
thinks Druids of Dragondale is all about devil worship and all that, and I actually, she caught me talking about Chalutha, and I had to tell her Chalutha is just a Taco Bell menu item, and the Howl of Chalutha is just when you eat it you howl with excitement and satisfaction.
Well,
Yeah.
I've had the howl of Chalutha a different way a few times.
Well, we've all had the howls after we've eaten Taco Bell, but yeah, so nobody listening on the radio tell my mom, because they all know me. They know, I'm
pretty sure
regular.
Chalupa was like a late 90s introduction to the Taco Bell.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
We also
Yeah, probably.
we're on the 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Monday morning time slot, so I don't know that many people are actually going to be listening to be able to tell your mother.
They're
If
lost.
you are listening, please give us a call right now. Give us a call right now if you're.
Oh, we're taking live
listening
calls.
again. And he gives a number.
1-800-PLUNGER.
Yeah, the phone doesn't ring though. If you're east of the Rockies, call. Yeah, no. Although, anyway, so I'm sorry. Where were we, friends? I became discombobulated in my thoughts for a moment.
We have found
I began.
fellow FBI agent
That's right.
Warren G. Hardon dead.
Yes, we've gotten off track due to your hoarding of firearms, but yes, Warren G. Hardon. You find him, and you want to. Would you like to skim through his notebook? You have not perused it yet.
Yes, let's see if there's any clues in here.
Well, he has many notes about the island, but you can boil it down to a few bullet points. The agents, he says this: Sean Cassidy, prior criminal record. Sean Cassidy, that's funny. Okay.
I don't.
Lights
He's
on water
cute.
smuggling? Question mark. Yes, I don't think it's meant to be the actual Sean Cassidy of pop music and Hardy Boys fame.
Oh.
Yes, but the lighthouse keeper, perhaps there's someone else's name is Sean Cassidy. But it's Sean Cassidy, prior criminal record, lights on water, smuggling, found ship parts on North Shore. found gold coin on North Shore. Bigger than bootleg moonshine. What the hell is going on? And that's all, of course, that you can glean from the journal. But apparently he was here investigating strange goings-on on Torch Island. And now he's dead.
Sounds like we need to go and investigate the North Shore. And I'm gonna look for more gold.
Unless there's any objections, I'll assume you will continue on the path. And of course, you have his 38 revolver. It has 5 bullets. Don't forget to count your bullets always. Now it is definitely starting to rain in earnest. Okay, and you move on out of the thicket along the path, and the buzz from that electrical generator is getting louder. And beyond the thicket, you find a shack with a running electric generator inside the door, and some gasoline in there stored, and some firewood. And there's another shack next to that. When you look inside, it basically contains a workshop with various materials and mechanical parts and oil lamps and there's a workbench there. You could find or make all kinds of things in a place like this. I would point out it might be a good place to construct an improvised weapon if no one trusted you with a firearm.
Is
So if there's...
Is the
Yes?
door open or closed, did you say?
Well, it's open, and you can
I
flip on
wanted
the
to
electric light
kick
if
it
you so
open,
wish.
though.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of doors for you to kick
Well,
open.
I'm still going to rush in there. I'm going to say, "Freeze, FBI!"
There's no sound but the rain on the panes of the windows.
All right, it's clear.
Yeah. So is there anything anyone wants to try to construct or salvage from this workshop before they go further in their adventures?
I would like to see if there are any occult type items available.
There's nothing at all occult in here, at least not as on the surface. You could start prying, aside floorboards and stuff if you wished. Most of the things in here is purely for mechanical upkeep of a lighthouse. However, one could make any number of gadgets here. Perhaps if you later find a use for a gadget or a special item, you could perhaps come here and try to make it. In the meantime, you could always wrap a bunch of electrical tape around the base of a giant wrench and create yourself a club or something of that nature.
I want to
A wrench sounds cool. That's right up my alley.
create a portable radio and a flashlight and maybe another gun.
Well, those things may be possible, but they would take some time, obviously. And time is the one thing you don't have, mister.
Is there a
I'm grabbing a wrench.
radio in here?
There is a radio, but it's like a receiving radio, like for entertainment. In fact, I'm going to say there's probably not a radio in here, not that sort of radio. In the 1920s, that would be a much bigger deal. They wouldn't have just like a little casual.
It would
transistor
probably take
radio.
up the whole shack. It would be so big.
Yeah, probably take up at least the size like a TV would be now in the 80s. But anyway, if no one else wants to do anything over there, you may go ahead and grab yourself the wrench. That will certainly do D6 damage plus whatever your damage bonus is, which is probably D4. And we can move on. And will Humphrey take any improvised weapons out of the workshop area there, Chip?
No, I mean he's better off just kicking somebody in the balls or
Kicking
whatever.
the
anyway, I
balls,
think.
yes.
Yeah.
Of course, you would like. Of course, if you want to increase the die type of your attacks up to like a D8 range or something, you'd find something very big in here. Nevertheless, in this game, you do have a very good chance of doing some damage by kicking them in the balls. And
I have a
all that, of course,
question.
is on your character sheets under the weapons.
What is the percentage that my wrench has to hit?
It will be the exact same as your punch percentage. Will be the base.
Okay. Thank you.
Later, of course, in campaign play, you'll be able to open up the wrench skill and several sub skills based on types of wrenches, torque wrenches, others. Quadruple specialized in wrench, but anyway, I assume we'll continue to investigate the area. Now, beyond these two shacks, there's a cottage, and the cottage is attached to the base of the lighthouse. Remember, you're looking at it through the rain. We're starting to pick up. This cottage sticks off the north side of the lighthouse. And the door, although I'm sure you'd love to kick it in, Dickey, is actually slightly ajar, banging and blowing in the breeze. Bang, 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 erratically. And the door to the cottage, of course. And again, it's set up against the base of the lighthouse, which is empty. There's an electric light on the outside of the cottage door, which is the small pinprick of light you saw from the sea earlier. And so, I suppose you could go into the cottage here, or you could try to go around to the north shore of the island and see if you could find coins or whatever, but this is right here in front of you.
Yeah, cottage.
Very well. Who would like to be the first to enter the cottage?
Well, me.
Okay.
Well, you got all the guns. It should be you.
Yeah, and I've got them both out.
As I said, the door is slightly ajar. However, when you open it, there were no lights on in the inner hall, but the ambient light, of course, from the lamp on the front stoop or porch shines a bit down into the hallway. And rooms open onto this central hall in the cottage. And there's a place where you could turn on a light in the hall here right now. There's a light coming out of one of the rooms. Do you wish to turn on the hall light, or do you wish to be happy with the ambient light before you enter the cottage?
I'm going to flip on the light and freeze, FBI.
Well, when you flip on the light, you see blood on the floor of the central hallway. And just to your left, there are two bullet holes lodged in the inside of the door frame. And once you point it out, the others can see it as well. Two bullet holes lodged as if something came through the door and someone inside the hall tried to shoot it.
Two bullet holes, see here?
That's correct. And there's blood on the floor.
Blood on the floor, if you couldn't see that. Just take a look around. Something happened in here.
Well, you could make a firearms roll as if, to see what you know about firearms, or you can make a native intelligence roll. Those of you who wish to make an intelligence roll may have a better chance of that than a firearms roll. But if you wish to make an intelligence roll, tell me what to do, and I'll tell you how to make that roll.
Yeah, I will.
Well, it might be quicker for someone with a good firearms skill to just roll that. Just to see if there's anything forensically, that you can gather.
Oh, gosh darn it. I got it rolled a 95.
Well, you're unable to determine anything further. How about the rest of you? Anyone want to see if there's anything you can learn from the situation?
Yeah, I want to. There's two bullet holes you said, so I kind of need to figure out if there's another gun somewhere that I can get before this crackhead FBI agent gets to it.
Well, why don't you go ahead and make an intelligence roll? What is your intelligence?
Intelligence is scroll up 14.
14. So you have a 70% chance of being able to deduce something from this situation.
Well, I rolled a 9.
Well, there's no gun here, and you know that, but there must have been a gun, and it must have been fired from the base of the stairway at the opposite end of the hallway. Someone fired and went up the stairs.
Yeah, somebody fired from the base of the stairwell. And I have deduced.
And as I say, that's at the end of the hall. And obviously the stairwell goes up into the lighthouse. But there are a couple of rooms in between here and there that lead onto this central hallway. One of the rooms, as I said, the light is on, and the light from that room is spilling out into the hallway. Do you want to investigate any of those rooms before you investigate any further upwards?
Should we look in the room with the light?
I'm going to defer to the guy with the guns.
Yeah, everyone stand behind me.
Yeah, the G-Man ought to have some experience in clearing places like this out in a proper and organized manner.
Well, that's definitely one way to look at it.
But I do. Now, you guys, you cower behind me as I bravely. Is the door open?
There's
There's no closed doors anywhere in this place, it seems like. All right, well, I'm gonna get real low because they're not gonna be expecting that if there's anyone in there. I'm gonna actually get all the way sideways and poke my head and my guns around the corner, look into the doorway.
Okay, well, what you find, there's no one in there, of course. But it is a study. Now, from your vantage point on the floor, you can see that there are books. They're mostly full of maritime tales. There's actually some bird books, like books for bird watchers. And there's repair manuals as well. There's a pipe and some tobacco on the table. And there's some binoculars on a desk. And on the desk, it looks like there's some documents on the desk. Who would like to investigate the room?
I want to look in that bird book. Let's see, I mean, you said that the tracks weren't any kind of bird that is known, but I'm not so sure. I just want to double check, see if I can identify.
Well, why don't you start looking through the bird books? Does anyone want to look at something else? I think you might be able to. Oh, let me forget. I'm not going to speak in my real voice. I am Plunger running this game, not Johnny Farrow. So, trapped in a meta universe. Anyway, yes, I think you could deduce something interesting from the bird books, perhaps. Does anyone want to investigate any other aspect of the room?
Well, there were those other documents, right?
Oh, yes, and documents always contain valuable information.
And they might contain secrets of magic, so I'm going to take a look at them.
That would be lovely to find a book of magic. Now, what you do find is a letter. There's actually a small book and a letter. And the letter seems important. It's on fine letterhead from a university, no less. It's from Massachusetts University. It's a letter from Dr. Otto von Hammer of Massachusetts University to the lighthouse keeper, Sean Cassidy. It's a return letter, apparently, because it references a previous letter. It says, yes, Sean Cassidy, I do recognize the coins that you described finding. They were forged in the colonial period in the town of Innswich. The symbol on the coins, an inverted pyramid, is the black tetragram, the sign of the esoteric order of Chalutha, a secret order dating back to the ancient Assyrians. The cult that worships the demon lord Chalutha, who sleeps beneath Antarctica. The gastrointestinal distress he feels in his sleep gives him dreams that he telepathically uses to plague mankind. The real value of these coins, of course, could only be known to the folk at Innswich, who stamped them. But I urge you not to sell them, and to bring them to me here at Massachusetts University for scholarly authentication as soon as possible. Upon your immortal soul, I urge you not to contact the present-day inhabitants of Innswich about this matter. The university will, of course, incur the cost of your travel and trouble. Very sincerely yours, Dr. Otto von Hammer. There's also a diary there with many pages, and flipping through it, you find a passage where Sean Cassidy is discovering strange coins on the beach on the North Shore. And in a later entry that's dated after Cassidy receives that letter from Dr. Otto von Hammer, he says, I tried negotiating with those odd fellows from Innswich to buy the coins. They were strange folk with an unwholesome appearance, and they were rude in their manner, so I withdrew my offer to sell them. They did not seem at all pleased. That's the last entry in the diary. And
Meanwhile, in looking through the book on birds, you do realize that when you look at the feet of the aquatic birds in particular, there are structural similarities.
Yes.
You begin to wonder. It would definitely be a creature that was just as probably more of a water-based creature than a bird type of creature. What you deduce from looking at the animal book.
And I'm going to flip to the page about blue-footed boobies. And I'm going to show Ceecee's character. I want to say, check out these boobies.
Very funny. Okay, yes, well, I am 12. That's funny.
Yeah.
So, yes. Well, I will tell you this. The next room is just a bunk room, and the next room beyond that is a larder, and there's nothing particularly interesting at all in those places. But the room after that is a kitchen. And in here, there's another blood splatter on the floor. But this blood is purplish. It has a purple tinge to it. It's
blood.
Obvious, purple blood. It's obviously inhuman. And
Is that
Go ahead,
normal,
Ceecee.
G-Man?
I don't think so.
Have that purple blood?
No, that's not normal at all. I've never seen purple blood before in my life. This is very strange and cannot belong to any earthly animal. I'm going to investigate it further.
well, in investigating further, please go ahead and make a no roll for me. Unless, of course, you have a skill that feel supersedes that.
I don't have hematology.
Would occult be helpful in this situation?
Not in this situation. This is really more a matter for forensic science.
Yes. I got a 12.
Oh, yes. Well, what you do find there are 4 spent bullet casings on the floor in the blood. However, there are no bullet holes lodged in any of the walls or the ceilings, leading one to believe that the 4 bullets that were fired found their target, perhaps caused this blood. Yeah.
Yes.
And other than that, yes. And also, scattered about on the floor, there are about a half dozen coins covered with blood. They're kind of they're up underneath the counter a little bit, and the blood's disturbed around. There's just someone scooped up a large number of coins, but a few of these were dropped and rolled, beneath the counter a little bit.
Jackpot.
And as it was described in the letter, these coins indeed are marked with an inverted pyramid upon them, and yet they are colonial American in origin. And they're stamped Ipswich in the 1600s.
I will go ahead and scoop up these and keep them for research later.
Okay, they're slightly bloody from the purplish blood. Does this cause you any concern?
No concern.
Very well.
Are the coins round?
Yes, they are, although perhaps not perfectly so.
So how do you know that it's upside down pyramid and that you're not just holding it upside down?
Because there's actually a slight indentation. It's a good question. There's a slight indentation with a symbol at the base of the pyramid. The base, of course, being the point. And its orientation shows clearly that it's inverted. Although it could be that your mind is thinking of it as inverted simply because Otto von Hammer called it inverted. No, it's totally crazy. Yeah, it could be anyway. It's a triangle on it, left, right.
I was actually trying to make that a stupid question.
Yeah, Plunger, of course, attaches a great deal of importance to that.
If it's equilateral, there's no way to know whether it's up or down or whatever, unless there's writing.
I would say the most likely scenario is that because of where the writing is, with the stamping with the Innsmouth and the 1600s date, you would probably infer it that way. But of course, you didn't care, and you got some of that purple blood on you. So, no reason at all, Dickey. No particular reason at all. But what's your constitution?
10.
Okay, very well. Could you please roll 50% or less on percentiles for me? Just no particular reason at all as you pick up the bloody coins.
Yeah. Well,
I know you don't care about the coins.
How
That's
come
fine.
I don't believe
Don't worry
him
about
when he
taking
says there's no
precautions, I get it.
reason?
81, that's close enough.
Okay, very well. I'm going to mark that down for my future reference. Okay. As your, anyway, this seems to be everything that you can gather from the kitchen. Now, of course, there's only the stairs that go up. The stairs where you can gather that somebody was shooting at these creatures, backing up all the way to the stairs, perhaps. And when you look at the base of the stairs, indeed, there is a bit of a purple blood trail that's trickling up the stairs. Not in a solid line, but drips of it every few feet.
This way.
Yeah. Of course, it's a spiral staircase that presumably goes all the way up the great lighthouse. Now, you continue on for what seems like a very long time when you begin to feel the stress in your thighs and knees. As anyone who has ever had to do stairs in gym will know, it is a special kind of torture and hell. The second to last story of the lighthouse is a machine room where there are great clockwork-like mechanisms that help turn the lantern about above it. And in the midst of that, there lies a hideous thing, a dead thing. It's man-shaped, but with bulging fish-like eyes and webbed feet, and a lamprey-like mouth ringed with teeth and terrible, terrible sharp claws. Lose D6 plus 2 sanity merely from looking at the thing.
How much?
D6 plus 2. I will also add it has 4 bullet wounds in its chest and abdomen. It must be the creature that was shot downstairs. It's made it this far. It almost looks like a cross between a fish and a man. Perhaps you would think of it as a demon seaman.
Oh my gosh.
Why does that sound familiar?
Well, you tell us.
Well, demon seamen were created by R.Q. Valentine, and they were later appropriated by Larry Lorax for use in the lore of Druids of Dragondale. Perhaps that's where you've heard the name before.
Wow. It's like you always know the answers, Plunger. Dickey's like that too sometimes. You guys are so smart.
Maybe. Well,
They are.
It's a curse, though. Where would I be, smart as I am, where would I be without my good friends to protect me? Friends like Chip, who, despite his proclivity for vampires and his lack of high test scores, has a certain native cunning that I can
Yeah,
only
he's
envy.
got street smarts.
That's correct. Well, I mean, I would say I have.
Oh, well, of course,
contacts you can-
I've got street smarts as well, and book smarts,
Yes.
and every kind of
Yes.
smarts you can get, but, it's nice to have someone who specializes in just one area.
This is why I myself am a polymath, and I surround myself with people who are specialists in certain areas, much like Doc Savage, who I am a lot like if you think about it. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on. There's one floor above this, and you can now hear the storm quite well. From the top floor, all the windows in the lighthouse. Obviously, every window, every surface up here is a window, and they've been smashed and broken glass lays all over the floor. But there's more that lays all over the floor. It is a scene of butcher shop carnage. Now, the huge lamp, of course, is lightless because it's broken. And as I said, the windows are all broken, and the rain from the wind and the storm is blowing in a little bit. And there's another one of these dead creatures here. This one has a boat hook embedded in its skull. And there's also the remains of a human body. But it, much like the body of Agent Warren G. Hardong, is totally ripped apart, but it must be Sean Cassidy's body strewn all over the room. There is a gun on the floor. It has one bullet in it. And if you want to grab that bullet, you certainly may. It is a 45 automatic, much like the one used by the Shadow. If anyone wants to grab that. And I don't think you need 3 guns, Dickey, so...
Well, I might need one. The third one is backup, but I can't hold it, so... Well, you guys can grab it, I guess.
Well, it's got like one bullet in it, so... No. Anyway. But there's blood and gore everywhere, and obviously you're not getting jaded to this type of thing quite yet. Everybody loses D6 plus 2 sanity. Just from the overall horror of the scene.
Oh, gosh. Another 8.
D6 plus what?
D6 plus 2, Ceecee. Alright, that's how much sanity you lose. Now, get prepared to lose even more sanity, because suddenly you hear a bone-chilling sound from outside. Over and behind the howling of the wind, you hear another howl, the fearsome wailing of many voices. Some terrible cross between the sound of a dolphin and the coyote. And this howling is coming from outside, and it's getting louder and louder. It is the howl of Chalutha. As you look outside and you look over the broken windows, creatures just like the dead ones that you found in here are crawling up the side of the lighthouse on the outside of it, heading up towards you. What do?
Fire! Fire at will!
All right.
I'm going to fire my one bullet.
Okay, well, here's what we're going to do. Is we're going to declare our actions in the order of our dexterity. So who thinks they have the highest dexterity out there? Higher than a 17, let's say.
I got a 10, but...
Mine is a 15.
Realistically, I should be much higher.
What about your character's dexterity, Chip?
Also 15.
Okay.
Seems there has been a typo somewhere, but
Okay.
whatever.
Unfortunately, these things that are crawling up the side of these demon seamen who are crawling up the side of the lighthouse move very, very quickly. And they're more than halfway up the side of the lighthouse before you have a chance to do anything. Now, of course, we're only declaring our actions in order at this point. We're not actually doing them. So they look like they are going to climb forward. Ceecee, what are you doing?
I'm going to shoot this bullet out of this here 44, 45 that we just found.
Okay, Chip, what action do you declare for the round?
Are they in ball kicking distance?
Oh, God, no. They're climbing up the side of the lighthouse. You would have to wait for them to get up here and then get into the lighthouse before you could kick them in the balls.
Then he's...
Too bad we don't have 3 guns total. Oh, wait. We do.
I think Humphrey is going to have to do like a magic trick and make himself disappear behind like a curtain or something.
Perhaps there's like a puff of smoke and,
Right.
and suddenly
Exactly.
he's
Like fucking Job.
on the other. You're right. He's on the other side of the broken lamp. Okay, and Dickey, what would Cheprick be doing? What's your declaration of your action?
He's shooting all of them at once if he can.
Okay. All right. Now, the reason we declare our actions is so that you could, modify your actions based on what other people are doing. But now all these things happen, and the demon seamen climb up the side, and they're up more than halfway. They're going so quickly. They're down below you. Ceecee, meanwhile, fires the one bullet she has in the 45. And please roll your firearm skill. And if you don't have that skill, do you know what yours is, or do you need me to give you the baseline percentage for firearms?
I believe that that goes under. This is a handgun, so it
That's
looks like
correct.
the baseline percent. Am I reading this character sheet correctly?
If it says, yes, if it says handguns, then please roll on that particular?
Okay, I don't have a very good shot at this, fellas, but I'm
Just
still
try
gonna
your
try.
best.
Is it 20%?
It is 20%, and I
Alright.
rolled. I rolled a 99.
Oh my goodness! Well, you fail, and in
Shot
fact,
goes
you,
wide.
the I would say that the vibrations and come up in your hand. You hold it wrong. The automatic kicks back oddly, hits you in the soft part of your thumb, and you drop it in a panic. And you see it tumble down to the base of the lighthouse, far below, past.
Does it hit
the demon
anybody in
seamen.
the head in the way
climbing up.
down?
Yes, but it only annoys them and makes them more angry. You're not sure what these things want, but you can't help but feel that it's connected to the coins. Meanwhile, Chip has successfully, at this point, is where the boosh fire goes off or the smoke goes off, and you disappear and get out of the way. And
Whoa.
Dickey, what does Brick do? Fires his gun, I assume?
Yes.
Very well. Make your percentage to hit roll, please, and if you hit, we will worry about damage.
Well, realistically, he would have hit, but yeah.
Well, sorry, does someone need to call Harvey Feinstein about the letter of the law?
Well, I'm not yet, but he knows we're playing, so he's sitting by his phone
you
just
have him
waiting.
You have him on retainer.
Yes, I
believe.
do, and on speed dial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, luckily, I have a phone right up here in the garage. My grandmother had it installed. That was our second line. That's the only way she can get a hold of me. Dickey, I assume you fire the gun and miss. Unfortunately,
This
now the creatures
revolver
are getting...
just hasn't been, properly maintained. Probably.
I'm sure that's true. Meanwhile, it looks like the demon Seamen are continuing to climb. And let me be very clear. There are dozens of these things. There's at least a dozen climbing up the side and a few more. A dozen plus. Say 18 or so climbing up. And of course it's raining. It's quite horrible. And we are in our next round now. The demon Seamen continuing to climb. They will be here at the beginning of the next round and be right up on you. So as we declare our actions, that is what they are doing. They're going to continue to climb. Ceecee, what will your action be? Actually, I'm sorry. Let me back up, Ceecee. Actually, we're going to go back to the end of that first round, where any firearm that may make more than one shot may now make its second shot, since no one is doing any melee. So you would actually get one more chance to shoot your revolver, Dickey.
Yeah, it's more like it. Yeah. Now, did you see they're climbing up and are the windows open?
The windows are
Yeah.
broken. You're in the top of the lighthouse, looking down over these shattered edges, and they're climbing up the side of the lighthouse towards the cupola of the top. Much like where Adrian Barbeau sat in John Carpenter's film The Fog, of which this scene is mildly reminiscent.
Yeah, I thought it sounded familiar.
Yes, it does.
All right. Yeah, I'll take another shot. This time I hit.
All right, that's more like it. Please roll your damage.
Okay. So that's going to be a D10 plus D4.
With the D4, it's easier to roll those at the same time.
Ooh. 10.
10. All right. Well, every little bit helps. The creature has 35 hit points. He now has 25 hit
For
points.
just the one?
That's right, just the one.
Yeah.
You see, the demon seamen are nothing to be taken lightly. Now we're beginning of the second round. The demon seamen, of course, declare their intent to continue this climb and be up to attack you at the beginning of the next round. Ceecee, what is it that you will do?
Since I dropped my gun and I only had one bullet anyway, I will wait for one to approach the window that I'm standing close to, and I will go upside its head with my wrench.
Very well. You will wait and hold until they come within melee range of you. Meanwhile, Chip, as Humphrey Curtis is hidden more in the back of the room, he can hear coming up footsteps on the stairs below, flapping nasty footprints. And you can't see them yet, but from the echoes in the stairway below, you know that there are more demon seamen coming up the stairs behind you. If that influences what you might declare in this round, let me know.
Yeah, I think it probably would. Oh, gosh. Humphrey just doesn't really have a... I mean, he can't really fight. He doesn't have a weapon.
Unlike you, he is not a ninja.
He is not a ninja. His nunchucks are not present.
He's a...
And we're, like, high up, right? Like,
yes, top of a lighthouse.
Yeah, you're...
Approximately how high is the lighthouse? Like, I'm assuming not survivable jump out the window distance?
You'll be absolutely dead, flat as a pancake, smashed upon the rocks below. It would be nasty.
Yeah, your character is a wimp, and it can't do anything. And he's just hiding,
right.
And...
It
but
kind of seems like all of us and all of our superhero alter egos are more badasses than these characters in this game.
Well, we'll find out about that. But Humphrey, you could stay where you are and wait to kick somebody in the balls as he comes up the stairs. You could run down the stairs and kick somebody in the balls. I think you'll all find that your kick does more damage than your punches, but you probably have a higher chance to actually hit if you're punching. That could be the case. You can also headbutt and do a few other things, which is a nice thing about the system that I do like, that you don't see in a lot of games.
yeah, I like it. You can headbutt.
And I mean that like totally out of character too. It's kind of cool that they have those listed. But anyway, so just so you know, basically Humphrey becomes aware that they're coming from both ends now, and you're in an impossible situation.
Well, then what he's going to do is run down the stairs and try to just bowl whoever's coming up the stairs over, hopefully giving, some small chance to the people, well, the person with the gun to shoot the ones coming in the window.
So you basically want to bowl them down, like kind of to knock them down the stairs. Is that? Am I reading
Yeah, he's
that
gonna just throw himself down the spiral stairs, like somersaulting end over end or whatever, if he has to.
I think that's an excellent choice, and we're going to make a strength versus strength grapple roll. So, what is your strength, my friend?
Well, let's see. Just 9.
This is a 9. Well, you're slightly stronger than these things, and cross-referencing that with their strength of 8. Then, in fact, even giving them a bonus, since obviously they would be held up from behind by their friends as well, giving them a tiny more strength will make theirs equal to yours. It'll be 9 versus 9. Cross-referencing those on the resistance table, we find a percentage of 50%. 50% or less, you'll be able to hit them with that attack. And since you want to knock them down, if you hit them, what you want will automatically succeed. There will be no separate roll necessary if you can make this.
I rolled a 52.
Oh, 52. I'm willing for drama to give you the 2 fudge points on that one.
I don't...
I think within I know you know, Dickey, that I have a house rule at my table that when it is within 5% range, I'm often likely for novice players to help them catch up to the more veteran ones like you, who you might need a little extra help where you might not. So I'm willing to fudge those 2 points.
A pity fudge.
And, well, DM's don't forget you're never obligated to play at my table, Dickey, if you don't care for the rules as presented.
No,
So,
I'm just trying to avoid a total party kill, bro.
I know, and plus I just love the idea of them all falling down the stairs and within 2%. I also think it's cool that on the grapple results table for knockdown it says, if used, this option automatically succeeds. And I love that cinematic aspect of it, and I'd like to utilize it or showcase it here for our radio listeners. Anyway, they go tumbling down the stairs, perhaps at least creating some breathing room so you're not attacked from two ends at once. Finally, at the bottom of the round, where you so clearly resent being, Dickey, Chet Brick may take his turn.
Now, is the light up in here? Is that broken or anything?
As I said,
I
it's
thought
shattered
so.
and broken beyond all hope of repair. There would be no more light in this darkness.
And is there any like any other weapons like flamethrowers or anything up here?
No, there's no flamethrowers. If you wanted to make a flamethrower, perhaps a good time to make it would have been back in that too late now.
Yeah, and is there any boards, like loose boards around? We could board up these windows and...
Well, certainly, I was going to say there could be, from a railing around the light, I could see there being a few boards, 2x4s and things, but nothing. No, you got to think this is a lighthouse. Every single wall up here, except for the support struts, is glass, right? And it's all smashed out. There's no way you could board it up.
Okay, well, then I'll just man up and shoot the same one that I shot before.
Okay, and it's like right below too. As you look over the ledge at the ones climbing up, they're only a few feet below. You know that a dozen of them are going to leap up into this room, and then you also know there are ones coming up behind because you probably heard some, warning from Humphrey. But although he has at least delayed that for a while, as you hear them all tumbling down the stairs. But whether he can get out that way and get past them from the base of the stairs remains to be seen. But the horrific situation, you're absolutely right. And so, Dickey, do you successfully fire this time?
Yes, I do. Bullseye. And I roll 8 damage.
He has 17 hit points left. So, there you go. Every little bit helps. Of course, all of these creatures have 35 hit points. Please compare that to your own. Now, so it is now... Oh, yeah. If anyone's going to make any... of course, it's a strange system. You actually declare your intent, so rather than happening in that moment. So this is really the moment where our friend Humphrey runs down the stairs and gets out and knocks them down the stairs, and then of course Dickey fires, and now at the top of the next round, and the things come leaping up over the ledge. They threaten everyone except for Humphrey, who is halfway down the stairs and not near either group of them. But as they leap up to 4 of them may attack you at a time. And Dickey, you're missed by 1. And you're missed by another one by 1%, which you'll be happy that I won't fudge that. But the third one actually does hit you, and I'm afraid will do 12 points of damage. And then the last one hits you with a 17, and we'll do an additional 9 points of damage. And
wait a second. 12? And then...
That's correct.
9?
That's right.
Well, there seems to be some mistake.
I'm afraid there's no mistake. I'm afraid that grim death is always a possibility.
Okay, so
in every
let me
universe.
just make sure I've got the math right.
Go ahead and double check your math. Meanwhile,
according to
4 of
my
them attack.
calculations, that leaves me at -8.
Very well.
But that can't be right, of course.
You fall unconscious to the ground, and meanwhile, Ceecee
Is sleeping.
Ceecee, you were hit by one of them for 8 points of damage, and the next one misses you. The next one actually hits you with a 9 and does 14 points of damage, and the third one misses you. Actually, I think that was the last one, and even if it wasn't, you've had a ton of damage already. You probably also are below 0.
I am actually below -2. I did not count by how many, but I am officially, according to this here character sheet, dead.
Both of you fall to the ground, and the demon seamen over the course of the next round begin ripping up your insides, tearing you apart completely. The only one of you that's left alive is, of course, Humphrey. And Humphrey, please lose 2d10 sanity as you can hear your friends dying. Luckily, you can't see it. Would you have something to say, Dickey? I can see you swiveling in your swivel chair.
Mr. Fleinstein. Yes,
Oh, no,
yes,
Dickey,
I'll
you know,
hold.
it's a harsh system, okay? It's a harsh system.
I'm on hold.
So, meanwhile, it is the next turn, and you're stuck between two groups of advancing demon seamen. One from the bottom of the stairs, where you've kicked them down, and another from, is up above you. What do you choose to do, Humphrey?
I'm like halfway, halfway up, halfway down the stairs,
Yeah.
and they're both at the top and at the bottom.
Yeah. That's absolutely correct. It's a terrible, but very classic horror situation in which you find yourself.
I assume no windows. I could possibly attempt to leap out of it on the side of the wall of the staircase.
Actually, there are several ventilation windows along the side, roughly every 3 stories. So one would not be too far away, but it's merely a porthole. It would take some wriggling to get there.
Why don't you just kill yourself? Get it over with.
I really are mean when you play this game.
I think his sense of self-preservation would mean that he would be willing to go a wriggling if he had to.
All right, well, a wriggling he shall go. Please make a dexterity test. What is your dexterity?
15.
Okay, in that case, you have 75% chance of success.
Oh, we rolled a 3.
Oh, very nice. You wriggle out, but then you find yourself still, 3 stories up on the side of a lighthouse. The climb down will be very difficult. In fact, almost impossible. Yeah. If you're preferring to leap to your death rather than fight these things, it might be a better death than being completely ripped apart. However, you do have a very small chance of being able to make that climb at a significant penalty. Do you happen to have the climb skill by any chance?
Let me see. I mean, he's a magician, so you'd think he would be able to climb, but apparently not. Dickey, what's Harvey's number?
Yes, the base climb percentage chance is 40%. However, it is in the rain, and there are no handholds. I think I'm being more than generous when I set a 20% penalty, so we have a 20% chance of being able to climb down from here. Meanwhile, you can hear the horrible demon seamen approaching.
Well, the dice have been good to me so far. I suppose they won't fail me now. Let's see. 20% chance. I rolled a 45.
And you fall, taking 18 points of damage in the fall, which could potentially kill you.
You're so dead.
Yeah, that's like -6.
Well, friends, that is what we call... And suddenly, in Plunger's garage, all the lights go off. The hum of the 80s era computer equipment, that ambient hum you hadn't even noticed, suddenly that stops. And there's only one window up here in the loft. It's at the top of the stairs.
Did your grandma
and
forget to pay the power bill?
Of course not. I pay all of the bills anyway. She just gives me the... There's like a knock, knock, knock on that upstairs window. Someone would have to be inside in a tree. And then you hear this voice coming from the window. Trick or treat, children. Trick or treat.
Who's there?
Oh. Okay. Well, luckily
Is
these
this part
candles
of the
are still
game?
lit. No, this is not part of the game.
No, this is
Dickey.
real life.
This is real life.
This is life and death.
Suddenly you guys can see a face materializing in the window. It's pale and unshaven with a receding hairline. The face is twisted into this perverted, leering smile. You children look tasty to me, just like candy. Ooh, and you's a fat little son of a bitch, too. Plunger says, I'm husky. Anyway, he starts to open the window. What do you guys do?
Mr. Monster, I think you've got this whole trick-or-treat thing reversed around, and we're the ones that are supposed to be getting the candy. You can't come knocking on our door trying to get candy for. Besides, all we got some chips and marshmallow fluff.
Get him.
You're doing
Get
it
him,
all
Ceecee.
wrong.
Oh, does anyone take any action other than speaking?
Well, if Chip's nunchucks are anywhere nearby, which I assume
I'm sure they always are.
must be, yeah, then he will wield them and stand menacingly, doing his little sort of nunchuck routine, which has no effective combat purpose, but looks impressive to middle school children.
Dickey is going to take cover behind Ceecee and point his laser gun, which is a flashlight, at the face, trying to blind him.
Okay, and Plunger picks up the phone, but then he goes like the 80s phone. He's got tap, 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 tap. Someone's cut the phone lines as well. Oh, yes, I cut those phone lines. Now, he gets the whole window open. It's like an old school swinging open type window. And he gets a leg up in there. Now, I know that you lived here, Plunger. And I knew that your sweet little friends would be here, too. You know, your Uncle Melvin informed on me in prison. He got me transferred to a new cell block where I was, let's just say I was disgraced and humiliated. And I'll never hear Billy Squire the same way again. But I swore I'd get revenge on everyone involved, and your uncle's the one that made the transfer happen. And I know how much your Uncle Melvin loves you, you fat little son of a bitch. And I want my retribution. So now you're going to learn what a high price some people pay for love. And do you guys want to let him get all the way in the room? He's got one leg over the sill. Anyone want to take
I'm going to go start face punching.
Okay, what about you, Chip?
Chip's just waiting for a good nut shot with his nunchucks.
Okay, you are determined to hit somebody in the balls tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Ceecee bravely rushes over and punches his grown-up in the face as he's halfway in and out of the window. So, on a 6-sided dice, please, roll a 4, 5, or 6. No, in fact, roll a 3, 4, 5, or 6 for the advantage.
Oh, with 3. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I ended up rolling 2 of them, and I rolled 6 on both of them. I rolled 6 on both of them.
You punch him in the face. He actually has to see if he can keep his balance up here in the room. Now, he's got to make a save here. He's saving on a 5 up because of his imbalance. 5 or higher on a 6-sided dice. Unfortunately, he was a 4, and he falls. The person who you know must be Beauregard Cox, also known as Stroker, actually falls 1 story. It lands on the hedges down below at the bottom of the tree, but there's also kind of a fence top over here. Oh, some bitch! That's going to leave a mark. And do you look out the window to see what happened? Or?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Okay, you guys rush the window then. He's getting up. He's holding his back. You can see he's bleeding. Part of the top of the fence cut up his back. Oh. And he limps a little bit. He goes, oh, now that tears it, you little. I'm going to bake you little fuckers into a pie. And I'm going to eat that pie. And he begins running over to the bottom of the garage. The door that's at the bottom of the stairs that leads up to, like the normal size side garage door. Not the front big garage doors, but the one at the base of the stairs that you guys came in. It's locked. Plunger has to buzz people up. He's running over towards there. Anything you guys do?
Well, while they were running over to the window to look out and see where you fell or whatever, Chip was wanting to run down the stairs to that door and attempt to exit it. And
you're already there then when he runs over to try to. In fact, he's going to kick it in, which adds insult to injury for Dickey. Stroker looks like he's about to kick that door in, but you open the door right at the same time as he's kicking it. It sounds like to me then. And I think he, again, is going to have to save against some imbalance here. Unfortunately, on a 5 up, this time he does roll a 5. But he's like, "Oh, aren't you the handsome young cowboy now?" He says to you, Chip, "You ain't fat like that other one, and the other one's got no meat on the bones, and I don't really like girls." And so what do you do?
Now I was imagining him, and this is probably too bang to kind of narrate, but what I was imagining was that he would open the door just as the leg kick was coming in, and so he would have this like one leg up trying to kick the door open while Chip opened the door, and then the nunchucks would just go straight into the crotch.
Well, I think you can certainly call a shot to the crotch, but let's see if you're going to hit. We're hitting on a 3-up due to the fact that normally it'd be a 4-up, but there's a bit of an advantage here. So hitting on a 3-up with your...
Ooh, but just a 1.
No, you missed the ball. Oh, going for the ball shot. I see. This saucy little boys like you always going straight for the ball shots. You wouldn't last a week in Hardgate. And he tries to push past you into the room. So make a pose roll with him. He's rolling... because he is a grown-up and you're a child, he's going to roll 2d6 and you roll 1d6. You guys have to roll higher. He doesn't get to add his together. He's just going to pick the hardest.
Well, I got a 4.
He's got a 5. He got a roll a 4 and a 5. He's going to go with the 5. So he's able to push past you. As tough a little son of a bitch as Chip is, he's not a full-size adult yet. And Stroker runs into the basement of the garage. It's over there where they have the band practice. That engine block's hanging up there. There's an old tool bench and that type of thing. And he runs over and grabs this hacksaw. It's almost like a little sword. Meanwhile, what are you doing, Dickey?
All right, so I am going to rush over to the hanging engine, and I'm going to release it.
All right. Well, you rush over to it, and you pull with all your strength. But, I don't know that Dickey's the strongest guy in the world.
Come on, Ceecee, help me.
Set to not fall. Oh, there we go. Ceecee, you want to run over and help him?
Yeah, I run over and help.
All right, you rush over to help, and you guys both pull on it. I need you to both to roll 6-sided dice. I need both of you to get a 4 or higher. If you don't both succeed on a 4-up, we're in trouble.
I got a 4 too.
All right, well, suddenly you hear the high-pitched shriek of the cable scraping into the eye hook, and the engine block falls down towards Stroker. He looks up with one last bit of horror. Now, he's going to get a save to get him out of the way, but he's got to have a 6. And holy shit. He rolls a 6, but he's not going to get all the way out of the way. Instead of killing Stroker, what happens, he dives, and then, bam! The engine block comes down and pins one of his legs. Probably cripples it for life, at least, but it's just one of his legs. He screams, blood curdling at the top of the lungs. All you kids who see it, as hardened as you kids are in Jupiter Springs, some of the things you've seen, if there were sanity rules, you'd be losing a little bit just from the terrible crack. Stroker screams loud. Now, by this time, neighbors have called the police, and you can see you can hear the sirens, of course, and then you can see the red and blue lights echoing off the neighboring houses, and before you know it, you're Jupiter Springs police over, and they're swarming into the situation. And Detective Dwayne walks in. Oh, I almost didn't believe you when I got that call earlier, Plunger. Well, I told you. I knew that if I could get the gang here I knew I could trap him. I knew I could lure him this way if I was willing to use myself and my friends as bait.
So it was part of the game. Kinda.
In a way, I'm always playing a game.
Chet Brick saved the day.
Well, perhaps. Actually, it was some good teamwork, but I think we got very lucky tonight, friends. That guy was nothing to... No, he is a seriously dangerous criminal, Dwayne says. And he's going to go back to Hardgate, too, thanks to you kids.
Meddling kids.
But let's see, what time is it now? It's only about 8:15. You know what? And Detective Dwayne goes over to the squad car, and he goes, let's see, he goes, call the mayor. Tell him trick-or-treating's back on.
Yeah!
And then like the doors flood open, and a bunch of little ghosts and pirates and kids run out into the streets to go trick-or-treating. because you guys have saved Halloween. You got an enemy for life. You got an enemy for life, you fat little bastard. You and your friends. As they're loading up the screaming, now doped up Stroker into the fortified ambulance.
Dragging him off, putting him there. I'm going to sing, stroke me, stroke me.
No, not that song. No, not that song. No.
And then boom, the ambulance drives off, and then the camera pans out and pulls up as the children rush off to enjoy their trick-or-treating and their Halloween. And that's the end. So that was our 6th Halloween special, I think, friends. And
we did
I know
3 actual Call of Cthulhu's. And then we did The Hateful Place by Dave Mitchell. And we did Mad Am I? Well, the system I made to go with Mad by
Am
Johnny
I.
Farrow.
By Johnny Farrow. And who knows what we'll play next year, but we hope our listeners enjoyed this one. And those listeners who have heard all 6 of them, we want to hear from you and let us know what horror-themed game you'd like to see on the show, either for Halloween or in general.
Yeah.
And I hope that you can all avoid trouble on this Halloween night. And so we'll see you next time.
Hey everybody, if you like our podcast, don't forget to leave us a good rating and or review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, or wherever you're able. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter at Goonies_world, and check out our website at GooniesWorldPodcast.com. Email us at GooniesWorldPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.